Welcome to Board Chats here on Private Club Radio, brought to you by our friends, Concert Golf Partners, boutique owner-operator of high-end golf and country clubs nationwide. Here on Board Chats, this is where we have boardroom discussions. This is where they take center stage. Finance, strategies, governance, you name it, anything related to making sure your boardrooms keep your club as stable as possible. And we're going to hear from Executive Vice President of Development, Construction, and Capital, Phil Miller, over at Concert Golf Partners. He has well over 23 years of experience in the hospitality industry. He also teaches some various classes at Cornell University, which is pretty cool, focusing on hospitality planning and facility management. We talk about the capital planning, development, renovations, design, all cool little things to help our clubs move forward. Without further ado, welcome our friend from Concert Golf Partners, Phil Miller. Congrats on your 30th club.
Yes, I'm very excited about that. Great club. Just of course, historical club. Great area. It's a great area for us to move into, location wise. And we're excited to start learning the membership and take care of their needs.
Yeah. How long was the process with them?
Well, the development side of it, just the connection, was probably well over a year. And then, once we got to the point where due diligence started, it's pretty fast, pretty quick process for us. It was about 45, 60 days once we got due diligence going.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's pretty quick.
Peter and the development team, do so much of that legwork up front, communication and that, just the collaboration with the board members. And then when it's my turn, I just come in and start working on the due diligence side with PSAs, and after the PSA is completed, working on the capital. Great things ahead for that club.
What's your back? So where'd you come from?
So I came to Concert after about 23 years in the hospitality industry. So
Okay.
I've been working with resorts, hotels, resorts, spending all of my time in development, capital spending, capital planning, renovations, design. So I've been fortunate to work. I worked for two of the top owner operators in the industry, and spent a lot of time with my first company. I was 18 years with them, and then my second company, I was a little bit over 5 years.
Those are some solid runs.
Yeah, just some great opportunities at those companies, and really great people in a great industry. So it was just an incredible segue when got talking with Concert about their needs and and where the golf industry is in capital spending and where the portfolio is today and where we could be in the future. And it just sounded like some great synergies between where I've come from and the systems that I've worked within, and the relationships that I have throughout the construction, design, and hospitality industry, to just kind of pull that into the club industry. But for me, it's all about I love the planning. I love the process side of it. I teach a couple classes. I facilitate a couple classes at Cornell.
Oh, no way.
On hospitality planning, and we break it down into 5 different disciplines in this course for it's a certificate course, from initial planning to how do you plan your guest room, how do you plan your public space, how do you plan your back of house space, and how does that all come together to develop and renovate or build from scratch a hotel. And then I also facilitate a few other facility management classes for them on how do you properly run a facility management team in a large entity, large, call it a hotel, convention center, resort, whatever. So I just enjoy a lot of that aspect, and I do other smaller ones too, like contract and contract negotiations and contract administration. How do properly do that, set it up so you're not just, man, putting yourself or your company in trouble.
Yeah. So what were some of those previous projects like?
For in hospitality, for me, a project was mostly, I mean, it could range from a new construction project, 50 million, 80 million, large resort or hotel complex to a renovation, and renovations in our type of properties, which roll upscale to luxury, would range anywhere from 15 million to, I mean, my largest renovation was actually $100 million in the state of Hawaii on one hotel. So, my renovation costs range, and it was everything in between. It was from 20 million to 40 to 100. But, the capital spending for the year, my average capital spending outside of just renovations, which also included capital, just the capital needs, the yearly, daily capital needs that a property has with, roof replacements and boilers and chillers and air conditioning units and all that stuff that to operate. It ranged anywhere from 150 million to 200 million a year. So I was, really fortunate again to be in that position to have that type of quantity, to have that type of, amount of work and, to oversee.
Now, you've been, doing this a while, and you're newer with concert. Any like emerging trends or cool things you see happening that, are good, but then also that, concert might be on the forefront of?
Yeah, definitely. As I joined concert over the last year, it was, the learning process of how we look at a club. And it may not be just an existing club we have today, but it might be a club that we're looking at bringing into the portfolio. It's really interesting to see our ops team, and they're so talented, and they're so, they're so creative in looking under every stone for a revenue opportunity. And that's with existing membership and, what future membership might look like. They're so creative, and learning from them has been crucial the last couple of months, really. And what we're seeing, the trends I'm seeing are a lot, outdoor venues, flexible outdoor spaces, that can transfer from meetings to events to, to special occasions. And it may be a quasi indoor outdoor space that attracts, groups, within the membership. A lot of things that we're doing on the interiors clubhouse are flex spaces, flexible, event spaces where they can be transformed, from smaller to larger space, activated with bars. We can transform our bar space too, and our member, bar space to have great events for the membership, and it's just great. It's great to see how our F&B teams and our operators, how they really look at these, every square foot of the clubhouse and are trying to accentuate it and really promote every area, that they can. So, and then one of the really cool things I think we're working on that I think we're on the forefront in is activating the spaces that are typically dead in a clubhouse or in a golf course, in the evening time. So, a driving range, for example, it's dead, right? There's nothing going on. So what we're trying to do is we're bringing in top tracer technology and providing the membership with their own personal top golf, experience. So now we can get the families out there, the birthday parties, the graduation parties, just the get-togethers. We can get them out to in day or night, out to our ranges and have parties, and it's really exciting to see that come along. And, and we're looking for every opportunity to give our members just a new experience, within the club.
And I'm sure those glow in the dark light bulbs. Oh my God. I'm sure those glow in the dark golf balls are really popular then too.
They are. They're fun. It's a great opportunity for the young and old. to get together, and it's not, it's exciting to the young kids, as you know, and the parents can sit back and enjoy themselves, and in a great family atmosphere, and you don't have to wait for 2 hours at your local Top Golf to try to get a bay. Come out to your own private one.
I refuse to wait. Like,
it's great technology, great fun, and we're happy to bring it to our membership.
Any like declining trends or things you see not being as popular anymore, or maybe losing its flair, or?
Well, I'd say that would be club by club, and region by region. But again, kind of parlays on what we're doing more aggressively with flexible spaces. You're seeing less of that fixed transfixed dining room. Just it's only open from this time to this time, and now could feel a little stuffy because there's just no activity going on, and you might be the one or two people in there grabbing something to eat or drink. Whereas more of our dining experiences they're in flexible spaces that ebb and flow with the need of the club, and you don't feel like you're in a vast wasteland of space, at different times of the day. So I think the design trends are going more towards that flexible, open, integrated space throughout a clubhouse.
What have been some past hurdles, in kind of delivering, capital projects?
A lot of that stems from COVID, as you can imagine, the supply chains. We were fortunate, the golf industry was, I think, during COVID to have a lot of interest and able to continue to operate well. I think projects suffer just because we were very busy. We were very busy with our membership and activities, but we couldn't get material. And that goes from lumber to drywall to electrical components, all the way up to mechanical equipment and anything with a circuit board. You just couldn't get, and that's really only come to ease, and be more readily available over this early part of this year. So we're just now getting to the point where we can design and plan. We can plan, design, and really procure a project under our normal timelines. Then, in the past, we were really at a lot of the suppliers' mercy. When we wanted to start a project, we had to really we had to sit and wait until we knew when we were going to get product. And now we're back into reasonable timelines for most of our products that we need.
Have you noticed any like opportunities coming from some of these challenges? The only way through is through, and I know everything's like a learning experience. So have you guys learned anything throughout that time and process?
I think, definitely. I think it's just being more proactive in the planning, the time that we allow for planning. I think, a lot of times we have these ideas, we have this, this desire to jump into a project. And then we realize not going to get done as quick as we can because it takes time to document the project correctly. It takes time to get a permit. I mean, getting projects permitted too has been it's been a Achilles heel for a lot of municipalities that we work in. But you just there's those unthought of items that just take longer, and we're the experience that we have as a company and the amount of projects we've done, we've been able to really learn from those. And now we're setting up our timelines, with very reasonable expectations and giving ourselves the right amount of that pre-construction, pre-planning time that we need.
Now, how do you contribute kind of to the whole process of acquisitions?
So, well, from acquisition side, once we've identified a potential club, and our business development team has done their exceptional work with working with the members, the committees, and really getting them to understand who we are, how we can help them, how we're here to be, to take that baton and run this club that they so love and have done a great job, cultivating. we're ready to take that next stop. So once they agree with that, and then the ops team and myself, that's when we get involved. We go in and we look. The operations team does a great job of, again, assessing where are the opportunities. There's things that are going great in the club. There's maybe some hidden gems, some low hanging fruit. There might be some more long-term strategic ideas that we start talking about. And then that's when I come in and we start pricing that out. We put a budget together. It could be as simple as, hey, what's it going to take just to do, a carpet change for this clubhouse, or what's it going to take to build an event center or a pavilion, or or like I said, an outdoor decks, event space. What's all that going to cost? And I put a budget together, and we all agree on what. Also listening, I forgot the big point was also listening to the members too. Why they are confident in us, but what they'd like to see, within capital, from us. Since we have the capital, there's a lot of times we're coming in because they don't have the capital. They have a lot of great ideas and a lot of desires, but they just don't have the capital that we're able to put into the clubs. And so we listen to them, and most of the time we're coming in, we're building our capital plans based on what their current needs already are. That's the first step. And then taking our growth and our ROI type projects that we know will accentuate and be profitable for the club in the future. So that's when we're working together to build these budgets. And these budgets, it might be initial capital, day one. That's the other beauty. We are ready to put capital in day one. We don't have to wait for a reserve to build. We don't have to wait for, a construction loan to be, to be bought out. We're ready day one. So, so we have initial capital that we want to put in, and then we have a 2 and 3 year plan that we put together, and we, complete over that time. And things come in and out, as you own real estate, new things pop in and become more of a priority. And that's the benefit of having a company like Concert. We can ebb and flow with those needs. And if we need more capital than what we originally planned, it's available, and we're ready to do the right thing for the club and its members.
That's very big.
Yep.
I think that's when you start seeing the value, is when stuff like that happens and how it's handled. So how else does Concert differentiate itself, in terms of the planning and the execution of capital? Because, those are just like two kind of cool things. How else do they kind of show their value?
Well, I think the value created is, again, being, getting in right away, and having that capital available, as opposed to a member-owned equity club. They've got to raise the capital on projects that they're talking about, right? And assess the membership. And we don't do that. We said, we can say from day one, there'd be no assessment. Capital is on us. Capital is what we're going to be responsible for. And that helps, it helps in one way of getting quicker into the projects. But the way we address capital is, again, we listen to the members, but, we go right into design. We have design. We have, design experts that know the club world. We have procurement experts that know the right sources. We've got contractors lined up all over the country that know the needs of a club, of how we have to get in, phase it correctly, and get out, in the certain off seasons that we have. And, unfortunately with member-owned equity clubs, they're working on committee basis, right? So you might have a committee in design. Then you might have a committee for finance, and then you have a committee maybe overseeing the construction, and those people are working hard. Those people are, volunteering their time, and their resources for the good, but they're not, they're experts and professionals at something else. They're trying to do what's best for the membership, but they're the lawyers and the doctors and the sales professionals, and they need to be doing that. They need to be coming to the club and enjoying the club, and not having to worry about all of the ins and outs and the struggle of doing major projects. So I think our advantage is that, again, we listen, we understand the needs, but we're able just from our expertise and our systems and our resources, throughout the hospitality construction industry, we're able to get in and attack these projects a lot quicker and a lot more, thoroughly in detail than I think most of the other clubs, are able to do on the one-off basis. And I've got economies of scale. I'm working on 4, 5, 6 projects a year of renovation. So I've got economies of scale where I'm able to. I've got the large, the large quantity discount pricing on carpets, on lighting, on seating, on millwork for bars, for everything. So it's, again, the one-off club members, they don't have that advantage for mass cost reductions, and we fortunately do.
Yeah, that's Peter and I were talking about that on I think it was the last episode on finance. Just like the savings and buying power is just massive.
It is, and that's my job, is to get out there too to these the manufacturers and teach them, who Concert is, and then teach them who the 30 other clubs that we have within our group, and know that, hey, I'm doing a lot of work, and I've got a lot of capital out there, millions of dollars, and I don't have to have just one carpet manufacturer or one seating manufacturer. I have 2 or 3. So if we don't get the right answer on a time, that somebody tells me it's a 12-week lead time and I need it in 10, I can go to the next manufacturer until I get the right lead time. And again, we have the resources to do that, and to search for and make sure that we're getting these projects done efficiently, quickly, so the members don't feel the pain. That's the biggest thing. I don't want them to feel the pain. I want them to be able to just one day see it and go, wow, you guys, we're done.
Yeah, just disrupt their flow as much as possible. Get them out there using the services.
Yep.
What does an acquisition kind of really involve? Like, what's that process?
Well, once we get involved from an operational and capital standpoint, the first assessment is, again, condition. What are the conditions? That's when I'm typically on a club. I'm walking around meeting with the current general manager and the staff, even meeting some of the members. When you're saying, what are your future plans? What have been your future plans? What are your needs? I could see with my own eyes, what some of the needs are, but I want to hear from them. That's the first step. Then we assess that, and we get all of our data in on what the certain projects. There may be a list of 5 projects. It may be a list of 30. Yeah, I don't, you never know. And then, those are the need condition based projects. And then we dive into once we start our due diligence, we do a property condition analysis. That's where we bring in experts, engineers, architects to do a deep dive behind the wall. I can see and I know what we need from a visual standpoint, but I need somebody to be in the roof, on top of the roof, in the plumbing, in the electrical. Make sure there aren't any surprises, that we need to know about today to plan for and budget for. I don't want surprises when we're in construction of a renovation. I want to be able to plan for it. So, does some of the plumbing need to be upgraded? Does the electrical inadequate? You're talking about dealing with some of these historic clubs and clubs that are from the 40s and 50s and 60s, and sometimes you find out there's not enough electrical capacity to run the current equipment that we need, to be successful. Asset protection, roofs, windows, doors, weatherproofing, is all of that, proper. So that, or does that need to be planned for? Maybe not. Maybe it's not today, but is it something on the radar that, I might need a roof in 5 years from now? That's great. I want to know for it. I want to plan for it. So it's part of our capital plan. So it's not one of those surprises that, now I need to put most of my capital for the year on a roof. I want to be able to plan for it for the right time. So once we get, the condition needs, the property condition assessment needs, the infrastructure needs, and then we look at those what we call growth projects or return on investment projects. What are those things that we could add to the club? added value projects. Is that a extension to the driving range? Or would it be a greens renovation or a bunker renovation that they haven't already been looking at doing? Could it be adding an event center or pavilion, like I said earlier? But that's get all that data, and I pull a budget together. I work with the business development team, because it always has to, that budget of initial capital and future capital has to flow with the pro forma, and it has to be within the pro forma, integrity of the pro forma. And then we sit down, and if it's not, then we figure out a way that we can make it work, and we just really work together as a great cohesive team, from business development to operations to, my capital side, that, to get to the right capital plan.
Yeah.
And we're really emphasizing now going forward, what is that right capital plan? Is it a 3-year capital plan, or is it a 5-year? Some it's 3, some it's 5. It just depends, on the overall needs.
Now, how does it benefit both parties?
Well, it's, it starts with, how long has the membership committees, how long have they been really working on capital needs? And that's the first question, right? And, and what we find is these clubs that are at the point where they really see the added value to bring in a concert have been really struggling with coming up with their capital. They're, first of all, determining between the groups, what is the right capital? Where should we put capital? That's their first, I think it's their first stumbling block within a lot of these committees, and the members, that just getting a group of people to agree on a certain scope. I call it, design by committee. It's impossible to do that. It's everybody wants their little piece of it, and and rightfully so. They should. That is their club. That's what they work hard and enjoy being at. And I think sometimes it's just difficult for them to get off the starting block. And I think if you ask a lot of those type of members, it is. They have got great ideas. They got a great vision. It's hard to get off the starting block with a agreed upon scope. And then the biggest question then is, where's the funding coming from? How do we get the funding for this? Do we take out another loan? Do we assess? No, neither one of those are great ideas. Neither one of them they want to do. And that's our advantage, and our added value to these clubs is, let us do that for you. Nothing changes for you. Your club, your club operates. Your club, you get to now enjoy the club, and we take on that burden, and we all benefit from it at the end. Great looking clubs, great looking golf courses, happy guests, happy employees, happy members. That's what it's about.
Are there any cool design trends? We were talking about trends earlier. Any cool design trends you think that are going to help change the future of private clubs?
Design trends. I think it's really the evolution of again, the F&B. I think that's what's going to change most of the clubs. When not having, going back to earlier, we talked about the very box set siloed areas of the club. You can only have dining here. You can only have the bar here. You can only have this, here. I think the new trend is so much more flexible, open, free flowing, just like we all live in our houses, our living, and our kitchens, living rooms, dining rooms. They're all one space now, right? I mean, it's all one space, and that's how the clubs should feel and should react. And other than having separate ballrooms and boardrooms that for events, the rest of it should be very, very transitional. And its usage. And trends from a design standpoint, that when you talk colors and styles and all that, that's again very, very demographic to very locational related, and it's trendy. It's what's going on right now, and that's one thing we work really hard not to be trendy in our design. We want we want, first of all, what is the history of this club? And that design is going to match that history and play off of it and accentuate that history. But it's not going to be so trendy that in a couple of years, you're going to feel like you need another renovation. We don't, that's not how we think and how we look and how we choose our materials and our design. Ours should be everlasting, and the only condition should be the only thing that drives us to renovate again in the future, not something that's out of date in style.
How do you measure the success of your design projects?
Well, at the very beginning of the project, we sit down and we do, we do an assessment, where we match what the members would like to see in that renovation. We talk to the staff who's been working within that club for a long time, what operational needs we have. And we think about, again, what are those growth type projects, those growth type areas that we can, we can bring into the club. And at the end of the day, if we've matched up all of what everybody has put in there, and what their desires are, then I think that's success. Again, somebody's not going to like a color green or the color green red. I can't make everybody happy about that. But what I can make them happy about is when they walk in the doors, we've given this club every element and every advantage that it needs to be successful. And we've given the members everything that they could want for, in an experience. And, when I see people enjoying it after renovation, sitting around enjoying it, and just, loving it, and that makes me happy.
Yeah. How long is a normal design?
So once we have once we have the plan, okay, hey, there's a plan. We want to go renovate this club. Then it's typically about a 4 to 5 month design process, working from 0 to 100% completion of design. Then we have typically another 4-month process for procurement. Depends on where those products are coming from. If they're domestically, international, or where, what it takes, how much time it takes to make those products. And then once we know when our products are going to be hitting or where we're working, we start the renovation. And that renovation could be anywhere from, depending on the size and the scope, would be anywhere from a 3 to a 5 month renovation, depending on the complexity of it. But you got to give them. It's not, it works itself in to be about a year or so, from really that birth of that idea to finishing it up and having members back in the club.
What's your approach to planning and executing all these renovations without disrupting the member experience? We kind of touched on it earlier, but how do you do that? What steps do you take? Because you guys have done so many, especially with hotels and all that stuff too. You must, from your work in the past, it's hard stuff doing it as things are continually going daily. How do you all manage that?
It depends. If is there a season? Is it a very seasonality aspect to it? We obviously want to be renovated in the lowest season. I just finished a project. We're just wrapping up a project in Denver, so we were able to do it through the winter when the club's not even really being used. So we shut the club down. Still provided some events and some activity outside for the members in Colorado. Snow related activities. They did a great job doing some F&B and events for them on the weekends with snow slide, tubing and ice skiing and things like that. But we were fortunate to close that club, so we went. We were able to get the entire club under renovation at one time, and we took that 5 months to completely renovate it. The clubs that we can't close down and it's not feasible or just they're, look at our clubs in Florida. They're open all year round. Most of the Southeast, right? You're open year round. We just have to look for the low, I'm using a term from hospitality, our low occupancy times, right? When there's less events going on. There's really, very, very few club activities going on. And that's, again, could be the first quarter of the year. So we really work. And then those that are still operating, where we don't want to, shut down the restaurant and the bar at the same time. Maybe we want to, we working on half the clubhouse with, working on the bar and the event space, but we keep the restaurant space open and still provide the guests, the members, an outlet, to come to, in addition to the golf, in addition to golfing. So, again, it's so location wise, everyone's different. Unless again, you're seasonal, Colorado or Northeast where the clubs truly do shut down.
Yeah.
Those are nice to have.
How do you incorporate, sustainability and kind of a little bit more eco-friendliness into your construction projects?
No, we're always looking for the opportunity. That's the first thing that we talk about when we sit down with our design team, my architectural and engineers. I don't want it to be the same old, way of doing things. I want them to look at, what are we sustainable product? We're doing a lot less wall covering, and wall vinyls because, we much rather do have painted products, and that's less waste. That's less VOV type of output. We look at carpets. We look at carpet squares that don't have to use glues. We look at sustainable product, sustainable recycled carpets. We look at fabrics that have come from recycled products too. There's a lot of that. It used to be really hard to do that. And be sustainable in an interior type renovation or new construction, but they're becoming more and more ways for us to incorporate that. And from a infrastructure side or from a plant side, a lot of the equipment we buy, we want it to be as efficient, as eco-driven as we can. We're designing new air conditioning systems all the time that are highly efficient, using less gas, using less carbon dioxide, putting out less carbon dioxide, and trying to do not only what's great for us, because we see a return on that,
right?
But it's, the delta between the costs have come down so much that it's, you have to look at everything you're doing in a sustainable way. It's good practice. And I know our agronomy department carries that from the course too. I mean, they have the same desires and the same opportunities that they everywhere they look, they're trying to be sustainable. And how we can be, we can show that our value of coming in and taking that burden from them without them losing it, the touch and the home that they feel there at the club. And I think that's probably their biggest fear. And we try, I think once they get out and see our clubs and talk to other members who've gone through that, other board members, other just casual members, I think that they're surprised to find that we don't affect that. We really truly do what we say. We come in, we do your projects that you need. We provide other value added projects, and we spend our capital. You don't have to come with any of that. And you just get to now just be a member, an enjoying member of the club, right?
Sit back, relax.
That's what we want. That's what we want to stress. So.
Well, I appreciate you being on here. I'm sure we will have more conversations. Thank you, Phil, for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. Look forward to having you on in the future as well. There's that episode of Board Chats presented by our friends over at Concert Golf Partners, boutique owner-operator, private high-end golf and country clubs nationwide. If you're interested in recapitalization or just how the process works, or just want to say hi, head on over to concertgolfpartners.com. That's concertgolfpartners.com. If you would like to recommend a topic for Board Chats, head on over to privateclubradio.com, drop us a line, and we'll be more than happy to discuss it on our next episode.